On the pages today, financing for micro, small and medium-sized enterprises.
We give grants of up to $4 million dependent on the different program that will allow businesses to test their ideas, especially if what they're doing is very innovative.
And Jamaica's progress under the IMF precautionary standby agreement.
Jamaica is ready to exit IMF financial support.
Stay tuned. These and much more in under 30 minutes. Hello, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine.
Water is precious. So we encourage everyone to practice the 4 R's of water conservation. Always remember to reduce your use of water wherever possible. Replace water wasting devices with water savings devices. Reuse water wherever possible. And wherever leaks are found, please repair them and repair them quickly.
Don't delay. Practice the 4 R's of water conservation today.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, August 15. The Ministry of Education is reporting a 1.5% increase in the overall passes for the CAPE and CSEC exams when compared to last year. Portfolio Minister Carl Samuda revealed the figures at a press briefing on Wednesday. Of the 32,617 students who sat CSEC this year, 29,139 or 89.3% obtained grades 1 to 3. Performance in English language by students in public schools increased by 7.4%. However, mathematics recorded a 54.6% pass rate to decline by 3.2%.
54.6% is not acceptable. It's too low. And the ministry is embarking on a program that we expect will bring about an improvement in that area. That's an area that we have run out of time, and we've got to improve our output in terms of the performance of our students in mathematics.
Minister Samuda says schools that underperformed in math will be receiving coaching support to help increase next year's pass rate.
Once the analysis of 2019 data is complete, the National Mathematics Program will review the coach development schedule as required to ensure that any critical schools not scheduled to receive coaching support are placed on the list to be targeted.
In the meantime, there are improvements in the science areas of integrated science, chemistry, physics, additional mathematics, and biology. Meanwhile, CAPE sitting for Unit 1 had a 91% pass rate, with Unit 2 showing 92%. High-performance areas were financial services studies, logistic and supply chain operation, agricultural science, Unit 2, and pure math. The safety audit of homes for children in state care is now completed and is currently being reviewed by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA. The audit was requested by Prime Minister Andrew Holness following a fire at the Walker's Place of Safety in January last year. Mr. Holness reiterated the call after another fire broke out at the Jamaica National Children's Home in St. Andrew last week. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Grace McLean, says the report is expected to be presented to Cabinet in the last week of August.
Once Cabinet has reviewed, then the decision will be taken to make it public. But just to say, we have already started to implement some of the recommendations from the audit.
Dr. McLean was speaking at a press conference on the 2019 National Exit Exams on Wednesday. Industry, Commerce and Agriculture Minister Audley Shaw says government is in receipt of the first draft for an import and export regulation for marijuana, which is to be enacted by year end. The regulation will give the Cannabis Licensing Authority, CLA, jurisdiction to facilitate the import and export of fluorescent flower and extract oils.
We have also engaged a legal consultant to commence drafting instructions to inform the timely preparation of hemp regulations, as it is very important that regulatory framework is in place to enable marijuana and specific strains of hemp, that is high CBD strains, to coexist as we consider the protection of both industries quite important.
Minister Shaw was speaking at Wednesday's opening of Sensi Medical Cannabis House in Kingston. He says this opening is a clear indication of where the industry is moving as it increases the list of medicinal cannabis outlets in Jamaica. The Housing Agency of Jamaica, HAJ, has started work to deliver 3,600 housing solutions this financial year. HAJ Chairman Norman Brown made the disclosure at the recent groundbreaking ceremony for an $8.4 billion housing development at Ryan Park, St. James. Mr. Brown says a $990 million infrastructure upgrade at Brownfield Grange Pen in St. James is ongoing. The agency is also carrying out regularization and titling activities in communities across the island.
When we do projects like these, it increases the social harmony in the communities. It gives better access to the services that our people require from our government.
And finally, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says 6,000 hotel rooms are to be developed along the elegant corridor at Rose Hall in Montego Bay. Minister Bartlett says the rooms will be developed over a 5-year period. Among the developments is the 1,700-room casino resort Hard Rock Cafe Hotel. Minister Bartlett adds that talks are also advanced to see to the development of a duty-free luxury shopping mall complex in Montego Bay.
What this means is that there's going to be demand for more housing. As we build retail, as we build accommodation, as we bring new experiences in the area, and as we also develop the capacity of the people within the communities to deliver on the supplies that the tourism industry needs.
The tourism minister was speaking at the recent groundbreaking for a 754 mixed-unit housing development at Ryan Park in the parish. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Government is embarking on several projects targeting economic growth, social services, and community engagement. Minister Mike Henry gave an update during his sectoral debate recently, and we have the highlights.
Targeted social services through JSIF and the RGD, increased community engagement through the JIS, and greater push towards projects ripe for job creation and economic growth.
Now is the time for action.
Watch as Minister without Portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, Mike Henry, unveils his plans to help build a new Jamaica in 2019-2020.
We cannot build a country without uplifting the more vulnerable elements of the society.
That's why the Jamaica Social Investment Fund has earmarked $8.4 billion for national development. In 2019-2020, work will continue on the Youth Employment in the Digital and Animation Industries Yet project, as well as the Community Renewal Program in 100 volatile and vulnerable areas. Similar intervention will continue in the Mount Salem and Denham Town zones of special operations. Programs in community renewal, disaster vulnerability reduction, integrated community development, poverty reduction, and the Basic Needs Trust will also be undertaken. Over at the Registrar General's Department, work processes are being re-engineered to better serve customers. The digitizing of over 7 million records is ongoing. An electronic database with supporting software is being expanded, and a complaints management system has been implemented at the department's call center. The RGD will also embark on an electronic production system for birth, death, and marriages.
The current system will be modified to include image management, eliminate the need for physical vital records when processing applications. The records will no longer be required to leave the vault, and the verification of information.
The Culture, Health, Arts, Sports and Education Chase Fund will also provide funding for priority areas in 2019-2020. Among them, $57 million towards the establishment of a 16-bed high-dependency unit at the Kingston Public Hospital. $50 million has been set aside to construct space to house social needs patients from the Savannah Lamar Hospital on the property of the Westmoreland Infirmary. Chase has also budgeted money to install water harvesting and sanitation systems in 5 schools that still use pit latrines.
The project includes the upgrading construction of toilet facilities, installation of rainwater harvesting tanks, installation of gutters, and over 1,000 students are slated to benefit from the consequent improved health and hygiene.
The official public information and communications arm of the government will also be broadening its scope in 2019-2020 in a bid to highlight the range of activities being undertaken by the state and to give greater access to government services. The Jamaica Information Service will be hosting a series of community meetings.
The forum will create opportunities for citizens to address ministers and other government officials as they hear concerns and share ideas. It will also provide the avenue for government to listen and offer explanations and assurance, as well as take on board ideas from the communities.
The JIS will also be partnering with the Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica, PBCJ, to produce a series of panel discussions focused on the state's plans, policies, and programs. A program to digitize the JIS's archives is ongoing. So too is the drive to become ISO 9001-2015 certified. Minister Henry is also focusing on large-scale investments that have the capacity to bring even greater economic growth to the island. By early 2020, Phase 1 of the Jamaica Gansu Industrial Park project is expected to be completed. That phase will see the rehabilitation and upgrading of the existing power plant and refinery at Alpart.
The railway from the plant to the port is being upgraded. The port will be refurbished to accommodate an increased level of aluminum production, which will be necessary to drive the anchor facilities of the industrial park.
Work is moving apace on the Vernum Field Aerotropolis project. A final report is being awaited for the design and plan for the cost and rehabilitation of the main runway at Vernum Field. While those works continue, private lands are being acquired, leaking water mains are being repaired, and power lines are being rerouted.
Work on the community roads are due to commence later this month, and upon completion of the road repairs, traffic into Gimimibit will no longer have to use the runway to access the district. Once the community road is repaired, the runway will be closed to vehicular traffic to facilitate the runway rehabilitation.
As government pursues larger-scale investments, strides are now being made to explore possibilities in deep seabed mining. Government has endorsed a Jamaican company's application to scour the seabed for polymetallic nodules, which are rich in nickel, copper, cobalt, and manganese.
It is a cost-efficient enterprise which does not involve drilling or blasting, as the nodules are lying on the surface of the seabed and are harvested by collector through hydraulic suction.
Concrete actions are being taken by Minister Mike Henry to achieve the government's vision of a new Jamaica.
We want a productive Jamaica. We are not productive Jamaicans. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity is the way to go for all us Jamaicans. Small business, big business, old and young, we are tell every woman and man. We want growth and prosperity for a better nation with a building plan. So we can build our product and sell our product and put more money in our hand. Our economy can rise to a level and build a better nation. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity.
Productivity, Pathway to Prosperity. A message brought to you by the Jamaica Productivity Center, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Up next, government giving MSMEs access to financing through the Development Bank of Jamaica.
today we're discussing the critical issue of access to financing by micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs. The Development Bank of Jamaica, the DBJ, has been facilitating this process, and in studio is General Manager of the Strategic Services Division, Christopher Brown. Mr. Brown, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
What are the services you're lending? We know that people that need money, and they are considered to be the engine of growth as it relates to growth and development, yes?
Correct.
So what services do you offer to them?
Well, one of our primary services, as I mentioned, is capacity development.
Yes.
So we understand that MSMEs, in order to operate their businesses more efficiently and even get investors, whether they're going for a loan or a private investor, they themselves need to be ready. So we have a number of different programs that gives grants and technical assistance to help these MSMEs to understand how to operate their business better. It could be training programs to teach you how to do proper accounting. We have programs that allow you to actually get the accounting services done, get business plans done, get marketing plans done. I would say a number of the different requirements that the banks will say you need to have in order to access loans. So there are a number of different programs we have. We give grants of up to $4 million dependent on the different program that will allow businesses to test their ideas, especially if what they're doing is very innovative.
Grants mean that they don't have to pay it back, right?
That is
so
correct.
$4 million.
Right. So
yes.
some of the programs, we have a program currently called the Ignite program, which is focused on innovative businesses. So somebody bringing a new product or a new process to the market. They were able to get $4 million to be able to develop that prototype and help to bring it to the market, so to make it commercially viable. Yes. There are other programs we have, which is our Voucher for Technical Assistance program, which allows any business to get up to $200,000 in grants to be able to get the necessary documents that I mentioned. Get a business plan done, get your accounting done, get your financial statements done, as well as I think there are at least 20 other services that you can get access to with that particular program.
With that money that you don't have to pay back. So how does that work, though? How do you help in this regard? Do you actually have a technocrat who sits with the persons and help them to do the business plan or that's how it works?
Well, currently there's a portal, dbjvoucher.com, that you can visit, and it will list all the services that we offer. It will also list the accredited business development organizations which you can go to. So you'll get a voucher, you carry it to one of these technocrats, technical service providers, and they would be able to give the necessary assistance that you require based on the voucher that you particularly have.
So how do people know about these facilities? What are you doing to ensure that people know about these facilities?
Well, there are a number of different marketing campaigns that we run. Opportunities like this where we come here, we tell people about the different programs we have. We partner with the approved financial institutions or commercial banks or microfinance institutions or other financial institutions who offer our services to let their clients know about these particular services.
So the approved financial institutions, these are regular banks?
That's correct.
Yes, yes.
In addition to commercial banks, we have credit unions that are approved financial institutions. So SMEs that want DBJ financing can go to 23 different financial institutions
across the island
to ask for a specific DBJ loan. And what they will get are loans at concessionary rates or concessionary terms. So either lower interest rates than what you would normally get walking into the bank, or for longer tenures or a longer time for you to repay the loan. Maybe it's normally 5 years. In this, you can get up to 10 years.
The credit enhancement facility, tell us about that.
Okay, so the credit enhancement facility is really a guarantee program. So it helps businesses that don't have enough collateral to get collateral support from the DBJ. So currently, our program allows for us to provide a guarantee of up to 80% of the loan amount at to a maximum of $30 million. So if a small business is borrowing $30 million, DBJ would provide a guarantee for 80% of that. So 20% or just about is what the MSME would have to find to be able to get access to the facility. And we think this is a critical driver for the ecosystem, the marketplace at the moment, because we understand that small businesses may not have enough collateral to be able to access the necessary financing to improve their operations. So we've introduced this particular program. And what we really want is we want the banks to recognize DBJ as that key facilitator. So any bank that is interested in lending MSME loans needs to take advantage of the credit enhancement facility.
So there are opportunities, and we're urging our small and medium enterprises to come on out and get funds from DBJ, get help to do your business plans and so on. Thank you so very much for sharing with us today on this program.
It was my pleasure.
Good.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
Jamaica's borrowing relationship with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, will end in November this year. In fact, IMF representative to Jamaica, Dr. Constant Lonkengwana, says the country is ready to stand on its own.
If you're looking back, starting from 2013 up to now, Jamaica has exceeded expectations by far. There were a lot of doubt as to whether Jamaica will be able to pull this off. And I think fast forward to today, everybody is in agreement that this has been a tremendous turnaround. And we get calls all the time asking, how did the Jamaican people do it? Because it's really an economic transformation for such a short period of time. So yes, Jamaica did it. And you can look at indicators across the board. Look at public debt, going from 147% of GDP at March 2013 to 95% at March 2019. Huge, a reduction by a third. Look at the level of reserves, foreign reserves of Jamaica, from less than 1 billion 6 years ago to above 3 billion today. Look at inflation, from double digit to low single digit. Look at unemployment, which is actually directly related to the people. 16.3% in April 2013, 7.8% in April 2019, less than half in 6 years. And the list goes on and on and on. There are a lot of discussion about growth, growth not being where we will all have wanted it to be. But if you put the numbers in perspective, the Jamaican economy grew by 1.9% in 2018-19, which is more than double the average growth rate of the past 2 decades. So yes, it's low, but we're getting there, and there are green shoots. The growth, as I mentioned earlier, is not where we will all want it to be. It's high by historical standard, but there are still structural impediments that have prevented Jamaica from achieving much higher growth rate. Number one, we have the elephant in the room that we all know about, crime. Number two, we have agriculture, a sector that employs some 200,000 Jamaicans, and which is still very much at the mercy of Mother Nature. If it rains too much, it's an issue. If it doesn't rain enough, it's an issue. So how to modernize agriculture is certainly one of the key structural issues to look at going forward. And there has been a lot of effort. The government has made a lot of effort in terms of budget allocation for farm roads, budget allocation for irrigation to solve the water problem. And then number three, access to finance. Right? 6 years ago, the government was the only game in town in terms of financing, because the government was taking all the resources in the economy. But now the government, as Prime Minister Arnold said recently, has gone on borrowing diet, which means that actually the government is repaying debt. And there is a lot of money in the system. And the question now, and we're very happy to see that the banks are sitting down with small businesses to think about how to close the information gap and get financing flowing to productive sectors. So those three are certainly key elements that are being looked at. I think it's very encouraging that the government and the private sector have started the work in that direction. If you were to compare Jamaica's performance with other countries, I think it's fair to say that Jamaica has set a new standard for the region. Not only for the region, but really for the rest of the world. We've seen a country where the ownership of the economic program was far-reaching. We've seen a country where the broad-based social consensus has allowed two successive administrations to implement sound policy. We've seen a country where we had continuity in the reform, and Jamaican people being engaged in the process to be part of that transformation. So we believe these are features that many countries could learn from. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Jamaica is ready. Jamaica is ready to exit IMF financial support, and I want to stress financial support because we've been strong partner to Jamaica. We will continue to be a partner to Jamaica, but the nature of our relationship will change to reflect the maturity of the Jamaican economy and the maturity of policy making in Jamaica. We will continue to consult with Jamaica, just as we do with our other 188 member countries, because we are an organization by 189 member countries for those countries. So we continue to consult with Jamaica once a year, just as we do for the United States, for Cameroon, my own country, and for other countries in the world. So Jamaica is absolutely ready, and it's been a gradual process. 6 years of sound policy making with broad-based consensus. We believe that the building blocks that are necessary for exit from IMF financial support are there. If I was to leave Jamaican people with a word, is really to stay the course. Jamaica has come too far to allow for any reversal. The sacrifice have been far-reaching by all Jamaicans, and I will really encourage the Jamaican people to stay the course. A lot is happening. It's a huge transformation that is happening. The world is watching, and I put my trust in the Jamaican people in delivering on that promise.